I'm here on Whitehall where crowds of thousands of people, it's quite hard to see from here, but I assure you they are quite big, have come to see the Queen's coffin come on one of its final journeys from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall, where it will lie in state for 4.5 days. Now, over the past few days, we've been reporting on the queue for the lying in state, which is in what some say is a fitting tradition to Her Majesty, one of the most British things we've ever heard of. It's going to be one of the longest queues that Britain has ever had. We found out today, we thought it was going to be about 5 miles. They have in fact laid out an infrastructure for a 10-mile queue, because it will go for 6.9 miles to Southwark Park in the southeast of the city, and then there are 3 miles of queue lines around Southwark Park. And at the time of recording this, the last time I looked, it looked like it had got up to about the National Theatre on the south bank of the Thames. That's sort of 1.5 miles or something like that. And it looks like it's getting longer all the time. And officials are actually prepared for a lot of all these people here to leave as soon as the coffin has gone past, and to try and join the queue as well. So how will the lying in state queue work? You essentially join the back. You are given a coloured and numbered wristband, and that's important because they've estimated waiting times of something like 30 hours at a maximum, and that means that you can duck out of the queue to use the toilet, to fill up with water, to buy food, and then when you go back to the queue, you can actually go back roughly to the place that you were in before, so you don't end up with these sort of very British fights over when people were in the queue and people queue jumping and that sort of thing, which is something you could be chucked out for. You can't get someone to wait on your behalf. You can't bring a dog unless it's such as an assistance dog for blind people or something like that. And while you can bring your kids, you are advised that this is a queue that's kind of moving all the time. You will have very little opportunity to sit down, and so it might not be the best idea unless your kids are very up for it. This is the first sort of lying in state that we've had in Westminster Hall for 20 years. The last one was the Queen Mother, and 200,000 people came, and they are expecting the numbers to be much, much higher this time. How high, we don't know, and when it closes, we don't know either. We know that you'll be able to see the Queen's coffin until 6:30 a.m. on Monday. That's 4.5 days, but the queue will close before then, because they won't let people in if it's obvious that they're not going to get to the front in time. So the advice is kind of to join up, if you're going to join, kind of through the weekend and not towards the back end of the weekend, because at some point that queue will close. It could also close at intervals, or they could stop people joining if, this may seem unlikely, it gets beyond that 10-mile stretch that is all the way to the back of kind of a zigzag line in Southwark Park. There's loads more information. There's a whole list of things that you're not allowed to bring in. In short, it's basically anything that you couldn't bring on an aeroplane, including any liquid or food, which you have to get rid of and drink and eat before you go in. For much more, go and see our website. It's at mirror.co.uk, and you'll be able to see more there.